What is it, Piano Man? What is it, Piano Man? How you doing, y'all? We finna discuss, will Vinsmoke SANJI have Conquerors hockey? It's gonna be a discussion today. We got 3 questions to go through for it. I'm here with my boy Katakuri. If you don't know who Katakuri is, check out my other streams. He's basically like a co-host. So 3 questions we have today is why we think he may have it, how do we feel about him having it, and 3, last but not least, when will he get it? These are 3 Conquerors questions of Vinsmoke SANJI for the stream. So I will go first on the reasons of why I think he may have it. So as you may see on the screen right here, there's an image of Zoro and SANJI, both of the wings of the Pirate King, right? Anybody watching, either now or in the future, put aside your biases of how you feel about SANJI, right? He is, at the end of the day, a wing. Right now, Zoro and SANJI are chicken wings, for anybody call it. Major spoilers ahead. Zoro seems to not be able to control hockey, his Conquerors, or even know it exists. SANJI may have Conquerors, because, like I said, major spoilers. Gabon has censored his answer, like his answer was censored, right? So, we don't know if SANJI has Conquerors or not. But, right now they may be chicken wings of the Pirate King, but at the end of the day, they will be the wings of the Pirate King at the end of the series. So, as a wing of the Pirate King's crew, SANJI will, at the end of the day, be him. Right? It's just that simple. It's just how it works. It's just how it works, people. So, that's why I think he will have Conquerors. Simple as that. Also, because of the fact of you don't have to be specifically a quote-unquote leader. Anyway, SANJI is a leader, though. That's the thing, though. That's crazy. But you don't have to be essentially a quote-unquote leader to have Conquerors. You have to have strong ambition and strength. Both things SANJI has. He has strong ambition to find something that nobody even knows if it exists. The all blue. He has strong ambition to protect women. Right? Being a king can also be about protecting your people, right? Let's think about SANJI's commitments. His commitments of protecting women. When he showed up to protect Nami and Egghead, right? Like, you know, he said, if I had a kingdom, one of my rules would be to protect Nami-san. And he has the traits of a conqueror. He leads the crew at times. So that's my first. So that's my answer to number 1. I want to hear Katakuri. I want to hear your thoughts. Why do you believe SANJI may have Conqueror's hockey?
Pretty much for the reasons you gave.
I mean,
yep.
Some people claim he can't be. Okay. Some people claim he can't be a conqueror because he's a simp and he's so pathetic around women. Boa is a simp as well. And she's also a conqueror. But go ahead and get your answer.
I mean, if that's their reasoning, then they must despise the fact that Kobe might have it, because he showed something that makes it highly likely that he's got Conquerors. And he's what? Captain rank? So, like that, and that guy's not shown pretty much any ambition at all.
Marines who are subservient to the government. I'm sorry to cut you off, but they're subservient to the world government.
Yeah, he's a you know what? He's a 3-letter word, a 4-letter word for basically hitching his wagon up to the government and doing exactly what's telling him to do. Same thing as Garp. Same thing as Sengoku. So yeah. And I know there's that counter of, oh, well, why should he be a conqueror? His dream is to find the all blue, and it's like, clearly finding the all blue is not an easy task, and let's not forget that I don't know if it was ever stated have been a dream before, but okay, no, scratch that. I'm sorry. No, not a dream, not a dream, not what I was intending on saying. Let's not forget that the whole dreams and ambition thing, when it comes to possessing or getting conquerors, is vague at best. Because it's never actually flat out stated or shown to be that you had to have some insane dream or incredible amount of ambition to accomplish that dream to have conquerors. Because if that was the case, Garp wouldn't have it. Rayleigh wouldn't have it. Scapper wouldn't have it. Shanks wouldn't have it. Like, these characters were not dreamers. I mean, okay, yeah, Shanks says he wants to go after the One Piece, but that's not necessarily a dream. It's not like every time we saw him, he'd say, "I'm gonna go for the One Piece."
Yeah, Shanks was a chill guy sometimes. Shanks was a chill guy sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to be so.
Yep.
You don't have to be so stoic, edgelord, giving one-liners to be a conqueror. I mean.
Yeah. Heck, look at Sengoku. Sengoku has conquerors. He's incredibly chill. Yeah. Heck, when he's not being made angry, Whitebeard has a lot of chill moments. Granted, in flashbacks, because he's dead, but another example, Roger could be chill. And we already mentioned Rayleigh and Scopper, and both of those can be very chill. I don't think we've ever seen either of them get like angry per se.
Yeah.
So
I guess the second question kind of leads into kind of what we're talking about, I guess, already. But second question, I'll go first. How do we feel about him having it? So, how do I feel about Sanji having conquerors? Now, for me personally, I do think Sanji will get it. I have a couple of different feelings on the matter. One feeling I have on the matter is, for me personally, maybe unpopular opinion, I've never give a flying fishman about conquerors. I've never cared about conquerors. It's only until this pretty much this recent chapter that conquerors actually done something interesting. Before this chapter, I didn't really care about conquerors. Like, it just knocks out people who they can knock out anyways, and I mean, it splits the sky. I mean, okay. I mean, why couldn't Oda create like a variant of armament hockey that can split the sky, right? I mean, it just makes your attack stronger. It didn't feel like it did nothing special enough in my personal opinion. So, for me personally, I never cared if Sanji had conquerors or not. I was completely fine with Sanji finding his own way. I'm still completely fine if he does end up finding his own way on some level, but I do think he will have conquerors. I think it'd be cool to see. Not gonna lie, for a somewhat petty reason of because people hate on my boy Sanji, so I want him to show people up, show him what he's about. At the same time, it'd be interesting to see how Sanji, does his own version of it. But yeah, that's basically my opinions of it. Me personally, I don't care if he has conquerors or not, but I do think he will have it, and I do think it will be cool when he does get it, especially if his, the implications of Gabon's answer to Sanji was censored, so Oda is building it up to something. It's going to be something to where when Sanji shows it, it's probably going to be like a really big character moment for him, because Oda loves making character moments for Sanji. That's something he really loves to do with Sanji, whether it's It's Whole Cake Island. He had his own arc, showing his backstory and stuff. And then after that, what happened with Whole Cake Island came back and the whole cyborg situation and me being a monster potentially for Luffy. And then Egghead, where he had this bond with Bonnie, you know. Uh, so I think that it will be a big moment for Sanji. So I'll throw the question back on you. How do you feel about Sanji having Conquerors Hockey in general? Do you like it? Do you think it'd be great? Like, et cetera, et cetera. Just give your general thoughts on how you feel about him having it in the future.
Only thing I can really say, Sanji not getting Conquerors might be one of the stupidest things to ever happen. Um, because he's already pretty much projected to be the new Scopper who does have it. And this is headcanon, I realize, but I'm of the belief that Conquerors is where the ability to affect devil fruit powers comes from. And I know that's pretty much nothing but headcanon, but when you look at what Shanks did and then you look at what Law did, both occasions you saw that Conqueror's effect. You saw that lightning effect when he was negating Doc Q's devil fruit power. That looked like the Conqueror's effect to me. So I'm 100% of the belief that that is a Conqueror's ability that Luffy just hasn't learned yet. Um, and I mean, it makes sense. Conquerors, right? You're conquering something. Anyway, that's off track. Uh, as for how, but yeah, how do I feel about it? Look, he's the third strongest member of the crew. Conquerors is clearly an end game ability, along with Devil Fruit Awakenings. And seeing as how Sanji obviously doesn't have a Devil Fruit, he's gonna need it. I don't know what he could potentially do differently with it because hockey is kind of one of those things where characters don't really have unique ways of using hockey differently from one another. They pretty much all use it in the same way. Uh this it's not like Nen, right? Where people have their own unique style of it. It's pretty much you have it and you can use it more or less in the same way that everybody else can. Um and so yeah, like even before we got to Elbath, I said that I wanted him to have it. I even made the argument that, while Zoro was obviously going to get it, that to me, Sanji was more deserving. Because all Zoro is just a typical meathead. Sanji, on the other hand, he's way more passionate. Like, yeah, that might not mean much to people because they might say, well, his passion is for cooking, but it's not like he said he wanted to be the best chef in the world. Um, but he's a very passionate person, and most conquerors are passionate people. You can see it in a lot of the scenes they appear in, where they show passion or they show a love for something. Uh, even if it's just a strong bond with crewmates. Uh, if it's might sound a bit silly. Look at Big Mom and her passion for food, right? Um, Kaido's passion for fights. Every conqueror, for the most part, has something that they're passionate about, or something that they really love. Um, and you don't really get that from characters that don't possess it. Um,
That's generally all your thoughts on that.
Well, okay, this is kind of a sillier one, and I don't know if it would actually play out. But imagine if Oda could use this in a way to allow Sanji to actually fight women without physically hitting them. Like if he had some kind of an attack where he could hit you with conquerors and like make you drop without actually hurting you.
Drop it like it's
It,
hot.
it it'd be it'd be like a serious but also funny way for Sanji to deal with his refusal to fight women.
Well, I don't think that would ever happen because I don't think Sanji. Well, it depends on if it would hurt the women or not. Because Sanji would.
He needs to get over that. I really wish he would get over that.
Okay, that's a different topic for a different day because if Sanji
Yeah.
got over that, that would completely change his character and he wouldn't be the same character. But
Although that could tie into the third question.
the third question is, when will he get it? That's the third question. So does that tie into that?
Hmm?
You said that ties into the third question because the third question is, when will he get Conqueror's Haki?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me then. I'm interested. I'm interested.
Really difficult to say. It's possible it could be in this arc. Thing is though, it's gonna have to be something monumental. Not just, oh, I'm not strong enough to do anything to you. No, it's gonna have to be something much more than that. Like, it might. I kind of. I mean, it's difficult to say when he will get it, like literally, because unlike other characters, like for example, if we were talking about Usopp, I could easily answer when he could potentially get Conquerors if he was ever going to get it. And I would say that that would have to be this arc or when he meets his father. With Sanji, huh? With Sanji, like he's already kind of gone through that whole arc with his family and, coming to grips with who he is. So he doesn't really have any story not story left, but he doesn't really have any personal baggage. He doesn't really have any personal stuff to deal with anymore. At least not now. Or not as far as I see. Because that's the thing about Conquerors, right? It tends to awaken during pivotal moments, not just I need a strength boost to beat this new enemy. It tends to be more personal than that. So, and in this arc, I don't see that for Sanji. I feel like if he does get it, it's either going to be next arc or after that. Okay, here's one that's completely headcanon. So it's incredibly. It's not even hypothetical. There's really no basis for this. All right, I could see him getting it when he fights who I believe will be his opponent from Blackbeard Pirates, and I think it's going to be Kuzan. And I can see his reasoning for that coming from the fact that it'll be tied to Robin in some way.
and he'll maybe feel like Kuzan betrayed her, and then also betrayed Luffy in some way, and by extension, kind of betrayed him. Um, I can see them kind of coming to blows over the fact that they both kind of had some kind of noble, um, not personality. I was gonna say nobility, but that might have been taken literally as in nobility to mean royal. But they both kind of had like a noble, um is it personality that I want to say, or is it noble quality? They both kind of had noble qualities to them, and I can easily see them coming to blows over that. Because, you know, if you really, I mean, they're both shown to be intelligent. Um, I don't, maybe not. I might not go so far as to say intellectual like types, but you know, they definitely show. They've definitely been shown to be more more on the intelligent side. Um, they're both mostly chill, and unless they really have to do something, they're not like Zoro or Aki Inu, where they just pretty much feel like they have to fight. With Sanji and Kuzan, it's more like I'm not gonna fight unless it's absolutely necessary, but when I do, I'm coming for you, and it's not over until it's over. Um, and so yeah, I can kind of see it coming as a result of that. I mean, Oda could give him a holy knight to fight and put him in a position to where he needs to gain that ability to you know break through that immortality. But we're talking about Sanji not only discovering conquerors, but also learning how to use it. And I don't see him unlocking it and learning how to use it to the extent that Zoro and Luffy can. Because he not only doesn't have it, but he also wouldn't be able to just start kicking people with it, if that makes any sense. So
Well, okay, so you saying you think he may develop against the Holy Knight, but you're also saying you're not exactly sure where he'll get it because of the fact of Sanji. You feel like Sanji is going through his arc already. So that is an interesting
It's
point.
gonna have.
What I will say
It's
on
gonna have
that,
to be. It's gonna have to be important to the narrative.
yeah. What I will say on that to answer the question myself is that Sanji potentially does have a couple things that I can see as a writer to where I can figure out something he can be doing. Okay, so two things. So two things with Sanji is this. Sanji, he seemed to kind of get into his dark side, his devious side, and Egghead, right? Where he was like, "I'm gonna kill Kid Jinbei." Like people have hurt Nami before, but people that was something that people talked about. Where it was like, "Whoa, why is Sanji so savage right now?" Because people have hurt Nami before, or tried to, but Sanji has never had a moment where he just became pretty much Zoro when he licks his blade lustfully, and it's like, "I'm gonna be your judge and executioner, Jim Brat." Like Sanji has never had a moment like that in the entire series, to my memory, where he's threatening to murder in that way, especially to like a kid. Like yeah, it's like a spearmint kid who's hurt Nami, but still, Sanji has never really had a moment like that. People talked about it because Sanji looked very evil in that panel, right? And obviously, it's when his eyebrow was flipped. So people discussed that Sanji was more ruthless whenever his eyebrow goes off, like a potential theory on that. Um, which I think is pretty interesting theory. uh, and does has a layer of possibilities. Another thing too is if Sanji fights Summers, right? Because obviously Gabon's not gonna be Summers' final opponent because Gabon's like a million times stronger than Summers, which is why there had to be plot hacks for him not to get completely taken out of the arc. Uh, because after Gabon had destroyed him, he would have been done for if not for plot hacks. So I do think Sanji will fight Summers, and Summers has themes of love as well. He has kind of like a toxic, abusive love to him. So I think Oda will do something relate to love with Sanji, where it's like one more thing about love that he has to get over, and it's possible that Sanji would learn. This may sound like a funny thing to say. Sanji would learn he has to be chivalrous towards himself as well. Um, in the sense that not to put women so far above himself. Not to say he shouldn't protect women, but he shouldn't make them more important than himself. It's possible he learns that. I don't know if Oda would go that route. I could kind of see him going that route, especially as more to talk about it because Gabon is like, you know, um, I had to learn to love one woman, my wife. I could see Oda doing something like that. So those are two things I can see. One, Sanji has to overcome the demon inside of him. Two, is something related to self-love. Something related to love. Those are the two things I can see because I can easily see Gabon had got muted, right? Gabon got muted in the chapter. He had opened his mouth. We don't see what he said. Sanji opens his mouth in response to whatever Gabon said, and then Gabon gets cuts off. Whenever Sanji asks the question, do I have conquerors? Gabon gets cut off. Because Oda is teasing it. He's teasing whether he has or not. Um, so
No.
so Gabon, I didn't make up this idea. This one I'm gonna say, but I heard from somewhere that Gabon potentially told Sanji, "You have Conqueror's dormant inside you, but it's some hurdle that you gotta get past first before you can have it come out."
Probably needs to see Zeph die in order for that to happen. I don't know.
Jesus Christ!
But like
freaking.
You just made me think of something.
Go ahead before I end the stream and stuff.
So.
Okay, so we answered the final. So we answered the 3 questions. Got every lot of people in there. We're gonna give our final thoughts.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, when Sanji said that, he reacted as though he already knew that he had it. Like he seemed frustrated, as it's as if he was saying, "What are you talking about? I don't have it. Of course I have it." Is the way I saw that. That makes me think that we're gonna.
Gabba never said he didn't have it. He never answered him.
Right, but Sanji's reaction to his non-answering of that question makes me believe that something happened during his time at Ivankov's place, and that kind of sparked it. Like
he might have had it all this time, and you might say, well, if that's the case, why wouldn't he have used it? Well, because he can't use it for combat purposes. He can only do the basic knockout form, which, I mean, wouldn't make sense for him to use it if it means stealing Luffy's thunder. I think it'd be entirely in Sanji's character not to use Conquerors because he's a fighter. He's not going to be walking up to you, giving you the eye glare, and then boom, knocking a bunch of people out. No, he's going to be more physical about it. That's his whole thing. And so I feel like it could also tie in with the fact that he might still have some identity problems Like, even though it seems as though he's gotten past the whole Vinsmoke thing and what am I uh stuff, he might not be entirely past that yet. That might be the final hurdle he needs to go through for it to fully awaken. Where he discover where I don't know, maybe he just completely dismisses the whole cyborg stuff and the Vinsmoke stuff completely and is like, no, I'm not that at all. Like, get rid of this exoskeleton, get rid of all that stuff, and then that's when the Conquerors comes into play.
Well, I love the idea about the idea that he gets rid of it completely, and that's when it comes into play. That would be awesome. That would actually be awesome.
Because he's truly who he wants to be. But I don't know. It's because I'll be honest. I don't even remember when Zoro awakened it. Wasn't it more like he just kind of realized he could do it and then just started doing it?
Yeah,
And then with,
he started using it against King, and apparently he didn't even know he was using Conquerors, which is pretty stupid. But
yeah, that was pretty lame.
Like I think with Sanji, it's going to be more akin to how it happened with Luffy, where you know he's in a lot of duress, and he sees. I know this isn't the first time he uses it, but it's the first time that it's acknowledged and we actually know what it is. When Ace is almost about to get killed, and he unleashes it to stop it from happening without realizing it. I think for Sanji, that's most likely going to have to be the case. Or it could just be he fights some Holy Knight, the one that you named, and he realizes, hey, I'm not able to do anything to this guy. He keeps healing it off. And then in his frustration, he kicks him one more time, does damage, and it can't be healed, and says, whoa, did I just do that? Because Sanji's not like Zoro in that he trains to learn new moves.
Think back on Wano. He didn't train to learn some new move. No, when he does Ifrit Janbei, he just does it. It just comes out of him. So I think what would make the most sense for him is that
he goes to, kick one more time, and he just does it. And it's like, oh, I can do this now. That's just how I see it.
Hey man, I think this is all interesting theories. I think we really discussed it. I mean, either way, whenever it happens, I think it's gonna be amazing because just the discussion we just had is just so many different ways it can go. I definitely think Oda's building us up to something. Even if the possibility he doesn't have it, I even feel like Oda has that plan. I mean, at this point, the more we talk about it, I do kind of want him to have it because all these ideas that we talked about made me actually like that. Actually, made me more interested in the idea more. Not to say I was ever against it or didn't think he wouldn't get it, but just kind of like I said earlier, Conquerors to me is whatever, but whatever power, but I think there's a lot of story potential for it. I think there's a lot of interesting theories that was given here for it, and great reasons, in my personal opinion, that was given here for why Sanji will have it. In this video, I think the only thing to play devil's advocate of why he wouldn't have it is maybe if Oda wanted to focus more on the science side or something, but probably won't be the case. Probably won't be the case because Oda loves his.
I mean, he wouldn't.
Oda
He
loves
wouldn't
his.
give Sanji Haki at all if that was the case.
Oda loves his chosen one hockey users. So, I mean, it's true. But yeah, man. Peace, like and subscribe. Oh, stay tuned for the next one. This discussion, I loved it.